Into the Clubman classes now. This is the heavyweight Clubman class. Barney Langley has a 2-point lead over Jamie Crease at the top of the championship. Once again, 2 scoring finals per round, and it's very early days in the championship. Peter Cowan starts in pole position ahead of Dan Underhill. Paul Jennings and Jamie Crease on row 2. Harry Landy, Tom Foy on row 3. Trevor Randall with Mike Bodner on row 4. Barney Langley, the championship leader, with Jose Sola on row 5. Who'll get the whole shot into turn 1? Peter Cowan exits turn 1 in the lead, but Paul Jennings has got to run up the inside, and Dan Underhill is hard on his bumper now. He'll come through to second as they turn right and go uphill to the spoon corner. So Cowan down to third. And it looks as though Crease is in 4th place. Tom Foy trying to go round the outside of Harry Landy for 5th. Has he got it done? Will Landy give him the room? Yes, he will. We're on board here with Trevor Randall. He's got a run on Landy. Down to the carousel for the first time, and he's through. And Tom Foy's gone past Pete Cowan. And he's trying to find a way past Jamie Crease already. Cowan losing out now to Randall. Randall on the outside. Will he be shown the exit? Well, he's not being helped by Cowan. He's run down the outside. Now he's going to try and run round the outside into Druids. But the former pole position holder won't have any of that. He's got the inside for Druids too. Underhill trying to find a way past Crease. Can't get it done. Randall's gone past Cowan, as has Harry Landy. It's a poor first lap for Peter Cowan. He started in pole. He's down in 7th, coming over start finish. Jose Sola looking to the inside, and he's through as well. Cowan on the cutback though. Perhaps gets a little helping hand there from Stuart Martin, who's banging wheels as they go down the Dragon Straight. Underhill trying to go round the outside. Oh, Paul Jennings can't get it done. But he wasn't a million miles away there, but he's lost out to Jamie Crease. Crease getting a bit of practice in ahead of the Easy Kart Championship round here. Down on the left is Tom Foy. Is Foy coming through? Yes, he is. Running Underhill out wide. He has to lift mid-carousel. He'll lose his momentum. Uphill and back to compression corner. But he was on the bumper. Stuart Martin down the inside of Jose Sola. And he's through to 6th place. Peter Cowan. Oh, Peter Cowan with some blatant banditry on Jose Sola. That's a penalty. Landy ahead of Barney Langley. So rounding out lap 2 of this 11-lap final, Paul Jennings leads by 0.3 of a second ahead of Jamie Crease, Tom Foy, Dan Underhill, Trevor Randall, Stuart Martin, Peter Cowan, Harry Landy, Barney Langley in 9th place ahead of Mark Oliver and Jamie Bird. So it's Jennings, Crease, Foy, Underhill, Randall, just off Stuart Martin. On board here with Trevor Randall. You're looking at Dan Underhill ahead of us. Sweeping downhill, Crease looking for the lead. He's got his wheels inside, he's hooked the inside curb, he's got past, but Jennings has got more momentum round the outside. Who'll get the drag uphill? It's Jennings, and the road goes in his favour. Foy closing in. Dan Underhill closing in with Randall, and you can hear Randall's engine in the background. Stuart Martin in 6th place, clear of Peter Cowan, Landy, Langley, Stephen Jennings, Mark Oliver, Jamie Bird, and a car down the inside of Angus both. And that was for 13th place. Another lap in the book, and Paul Jennings leads. Jamie Crease, Tom Foy, Dan Underhill now trying to find a way past Tom Foy. We're on board as Foy's got a run on Jamie Crease. And here comes Dan Underhill wafting onto the bumper of Tom Foy. And he's through. And Randall now looking for a way past Jamie Crease as well. Everybody goes narrow into the spoon corner. The revs drop. Has anybody got a growler with some good drive? It looks as though Stuart Martin's got a good run on Trevor Randall. Down the inside in the carousel. It's there. Now can Randall keep the revs up? He can't. A rueful shake of the head from Trevor Randall. Back up front with Dan Underhill. Tom Foy getting a run out of compression corner on Paul Jennings. What a lovely move from Tom Foy. Jennings now defending. And Underhill's got to be careful. He's got Jamie Crease on his left shoulder. Through the elbow. Paddock bend, and Underhill dives inside of Paul Jennings. And Jennings now looking over his shoulder, and here comes Jamie Crease. So Jennings struggling with the conditions, and Stuart Martin's got a great run on the pair of them. And Trevor Randall's coming through as well. It's all change. Foy from Underhill, Stuart Martin, Crease under pressure from Randall. Randall's got the line into the spoon corner. Can he get it turned? He can, and he's through. So Jennings was leading half a lap ago. Now he's down in 6th and under pressure from Peter Cowan. Cowan optimistically looking around the outside. Takes a look over his shoulder. Looking out for Harry Landy. So Foy pulling clear of Dan Underhill. Under pressure from Stuart Martin. Gap then to Randall. Under pressure from Crease. Jennings, Cowan, Landy. Gap then to Langley. Stephen Jennings, Jamie Bird. Another lap goes in the book. Jamie Crease tapping on the bumper of Trevor Randall. A warning board going out there probably for Crease. Randall looking for support. Crease looking for a way by. Langley holding off Jamie Bird, who's got ahead of Stephen Jennings. So Jamie Bird up to 10th. So Paul Jennings rubbing wheels with Jamie Crease. A look of disdain, if you can see that through his visor, the body language at least. So 3 away at the front. Randall unable to go with them. Bird and Jennings ahead of Mark Oliver. Trevor Randall still under pressure from Jamie Crease. They haven't quite dropped Paul Jennings just yet. Crease looking for a way by. Randall on the defensive. Sweeping uphill. And as Jennings got a run on Crease, he was better through the right-hander there. Yes, he's through. Lovely move from Paul Jennings. Mistake from Crease. Offline through the right-hander before the hill. So can Randall make any impression on the leading trio? Langley under pressure from Jamie Bird and Stephen Jennings. The championship leader won't be championship leader after this race if Jamie Crease stays in 5th place. Can Dan Underhill do anything about Tom Foy? He's in the suck zone, picking up the toe. The revs rise, he's closing in, right on his bumper through the right-hander. Has he got a shot into the spoon corner? Langley under pressure from Jamie Bird. This is the fight for 9th place. Stuart Martin, though, has got a better run out of spoon corner, and Stuart Martin through to 2nd. Can he hold the corner? Can he get good drive? Yes, he can. Stuart Martin started on grid 7. He's up to 2nd. Can he do anything about Tom Foy? Has Dan Underhill got an answer? Sweeping into Druids 2. Underhill trying to get back on the power. Oh, he's got it. He's had to lift. Martin slow through the elbow. Underhill will have to make a mental note of that. Could come in handy at the end of this race. So through Club Corner, and Underhill looking very racy on the bumper of Stuart Martin. Sweeping down the Dragon Straight into the right-hander. There's a lift from Underhill. Can he throw it up the inside into spoon corner? Here comes Dan Underhill down the inside. There's contact with Martin. Is he going to give him room? Yes, he is. Hard but fair racing from Underhill, and he's lost all his momentum on the exit. That could be Underhill done in the battle for the lead as Stuart Martin got anything for Tom Foy. The midfield dice. Harry Landy running in 8th. Trying to stay in touch with Peter Cowan. Jamie Bird still struggling to find a way past Barney Langley in that fight for 9th place. 2 laps from the finish. Dan Underhill has recovered and he's closing back in on Stuart Martin onto the bumper. Love tap as they go into the right-hander. A lift and then back on the power, then on the brakes hard for spoon corner. Peter Cowan under pressure from Landy as they go up the hill to Spoon Corner. Oh, Stuart Martin on the grass on the outside, out of the Spoon. Not quite the racing line, but it's damp and greasy. So it's any which way you can. Into compression. Big lift there. Now sweeping into Druids 1. Druids 2. I think this track is starting to dry out just in time for the finish. Just to make it a little bit more complicated. Drying conditions on this track. Stuart Martin a kart length into Club Corner behind Tom Foy. Foy takes a look, he can hear him. The final lap board is out. Stuart Martin closing in. Oh, and it's starting to rain again. Oh, and Tom Foy runs wide. Stuart Martin into the lead, into the Spoon Corner. Can he hold that curb? He can't. And Tom Foy's run round the outside of him. Martin over the grass, Dan Underhill down the inside. Martin unimpressed with Foy's driving tactics. Hard but fair. That's the way in Club 100. So Underhill up to second, and he's got a shot at the lead. Right on his bumper into compression. Oh, nudging Foy wide. Underhill down the inside into Druids. There's more contact. Dirty Dan Underhill living up to his reputation. Foy gets the lead back. 2 corners from the finish. This could go either way here. Stuart Martin on his bumper in third. Turning in, more contact from Underhill. The drag race the line. Tom Foy wins from Dan Underhill and Stuart Martin. Well, back to the heavyweight clubmans now. The sun is shining, but there's rain in the air. The track is definitely wet. In pole position, Dan Underhill, Jamie Crease on the front row with him, leading the championship now from Trevor Randall, Mike Bodner, Harry Landy, Adam Nakar, Stuart Martin, Jamie Bird, Alex Withington and Angus both round out the top 10. Who'll get the whole shot? Jamie Crease has got better drive out the final corner and was ahead at the line and leads out of the corner. On board with Trevor Randall, heading down the Dragon Straight, past the kink, up to the right-hander, and it's Crease. Underhill looking for a way by. I think I saw Mike Bodner going down the inside. We're on board with Withington. Contact with somebody, put him on the grass. Mark Oliver ahead of us. It's all a bit frantic in the midfield. Out of Spoon and down to the carousel, and it's Crease. Randall in second. Ahead of Dan Underhill, Mike Bodner, Stuart Martin, Harry Landy. Everybody's made it through, just about. Stuart Martin finds himself on the grass, coming back in the mid-pack. That could have been ugly, but they've managed to avoid him. So Crease, Randall, and Randall's going for the lead early, and I think he's through. Yes, he is. Lovely move from Trevor Randall. And end of lap 1, Randall leads from Jamie Crease. Dan Underhill, Mike Bodner in 4th place. You're looking at Alex Withington, who's in 6th and ahead of Mark Oliver. Mark Oliver sawing at the wheel out of turn 1. He's got a run on Alex Withington. Turning right and he's through. Oh, they're banging wheels, but he's done it. The track up here is wet. I think there might be a hint of a drying line, but it's definitely not dry. Stephen Jennings goes past Withington. Bodner holding off Underhill, or is he trying to get by? He's trying to get by. Contact. And Underhill takes it back. Makes his intentions obvious. Oh, Landy bouncing over the curb. Could have easily wiped out Mark Oliver there. Paul Jennings showing Stuart Martin to the grass, and Tom Foy has run off the side of the track there. He's missed out part of Druids. Re-enters in about the right place. And there's a penalty board out there. And that penalty board is for Tom Foy. Banging wheels now with Stuart Martin. Jose Sola down the inside of Stuart Martin. And he's past Tom Foy, and look at Jamie Bird, what a run he's getting. He could do all 3 of them here. Well, he's settled in behind Solar. No, he's not. He's run up the inside and he's through. Solar doesn't know it yet, but the position is gone. And he's run wide. Good run from Jamie Bird. Up to 11th. Oh, and look at that, Barney Langley, the championship leader at the beginning of the day, spun out, possibly with contact with Stephen Jennings. Well, after a wonderful clear, it's all gone wrong, as it always does for Barney Langley. So let's reset this field. At the end of lap 3, Randall leads by a second from Jamie Crease, who in turn's got the best part of a second on Dan Underhill. Mark Oliver now in 4th place, ahead of Mike Bodner. Gap then to Landy, Stephen Jennings, Alex Withington, Peter Cowan in 9th, Paul Jennings in 10th, Jamie Bird in 11th, Randall looking as though he's in command here, as best you can be in these treacherous conditions at Glan Y Gors. As my mother always used to say, if in doubt in anything Welsh, give it some phlegm. Harry Landy ahead of Stephen Jennings. Landy in 6th. And, oh no, there's another spinner. Mark Oliver's dropped it. And Barney Langley still waiting to get started. Jose Sola ahead of Stuart Martin in what is the fight for 12th place, soon to be 11th. Another lap in the books. Has Jamie Crease made any impression on Trevor Randall? Well, it's half a second now, the lead, so yes, he has. He's closing in, the sun is shining. The track is still very wet. Back on board with Withington in 7th place, chasing after Stephen Jennings, and he's getting a run. Now, what's he going to do? Too late to go around the outside, not enough room up the inside. He's backed off there rather a lot. Too far back now to make a move up the inside. In fact, Jennings goes through on Harry Landy. Lovely move from Stephen Jennings. There's a dry line emerging down the centre of the road at the carousel, and that's what happens if you back off too much here. Peter Cowan has gone through round the outside. Jamie Bird fighting hard with Paul Jennings. Crease now on the bumper of Trevor Randall. Oh, and Stuart Martin's parked it on the exit of the carousel. It's all gone wrong for Martin. Landy under pressure from Peter Cowan. Withington trying to find a way by. Through the elbow. Spinning up, down into paddock. He got in a bit deep there. Lost a little bit of momentum. He's got to be careful. He's got Paul Jennings on his bumper. He's run wide. Takes a look over his shoulder. Sloppy couple of corners for Alex Withington. Well, you can see the blue sky through the raindrops on this camera lens. Trevor Randall leads. And his lead now is back to just over half a second. Here's the second group, headed by Stephen Jennings. In 5th place, Landy under pressure from Cowan. Withington, 17 is Jamie Bird. The yellow lid at the back there is Paul Jennings in 10th. Looks as though Jennings is getting a run on Jamie Bird. Looking to the inside of compression corner, be brave in these conditions. Desperately trying to get the front wheels to turn. Full lock and then try and catch it when it eventually decides to. Oh, and Withington has nailed Peter Cowan. Well, he's only got himself to blame for that one.
Sorry, mate.
He should be. So we're on to lap 7. Trevor Randall's edged out another 1/10 of a second on Jamie Crease. It's now 0.6 of a second. And Randall's got 2.5 seconds on Dan Underhill, who's under pressure from Mike Bodner in 4th. Jennings then 8 seconds back from the lead in 5th. And there's the penalty board for Withington. Black flag. So here's the leader, Trevor Randall. Jamie Crease in striking distance, keeping him honest. Gap then to Underhill, under real pressure from Mike Bodner. Randall's eked out another 1/10 of a second, exercising a modicum of control in this heavyweight Clubman final 2. Underhill looks over his shoulder, got a good run out of club corner, pulled out a cart length of Mike Bodner. Turning in, waiting for the grip, looking for a line out and through and down the hill. Randall looks to be in control in these difficult, wet, becoming drier conditions. Withington heading for pit lane. Landy runs wide. Jamie Bird's got a run. Can he keep those revs up? Yes, he can. Landy stays in 6th place. Quite a fight going on there between Landy, Bird, Jennings, Paul Jennings that is. Back with Withington. I think he's been met with complete indifference by James there in the pit lane. So under 2 laps to go now for Trevor Randall. His lead is now 1.1 seconds. He's got this one in the bag if he can keep it on the black stuff. Jamie Crease hasn't got anything for him. Crease, on the other hand, will be heading for the championship lead at the end of this final if he can keep it on the track as well. Dan Underhill is a 1.5 behind him in 3rd. Bodner now 0.7 a second behind Dan Underhill. Stephen Jennings is comfortable in 5th and heading for that position at the finish. He's 4 seconds clear of this dice as Harry Landy tries to find a way past his brother Paul Jennings, and they both lose out to Jamie Bird. So Bird up to 6th. Back at the front of the field, coming round to start the final lap, we ride with Trevor Randall. It's not quick, but it is effective. Oh, and Foy, the race 1 winner, spun out of the carousel. Final lap board is out for Trevor Randall. He's 63 seconds from a first win in the heavyweight Clubman class. He dropped down at the last round from the Premier class because he just couldn't hack it anymore. He is, of course, a former sprint champion. Lightweights, I think, many years ago. Maybe it's 2001, 2002, I can't recall. Seems a long time ago now. Just racing for fun, he says. So Crease heading for the championship lead. Underhill heading for 3rd. Mike Bodner heading for a good result. Battle on here. Jamie Bird in 6th. Holding off Paul Jennings. Solar down the inside of Harry Landy. Oh, but it's too ambitious and he's thrown it away. A bad day for Solar. Final 2 corners for Trevor Randall. He's going to win this one on the road from Jamie Crease. Crease picks up a penalty though, possibly for jumping that start, I'm not sure. Dan Underhill will take 2nd place. Mike Bodner is 4th. Stephen Jennings is 5th. Jamie Bird will finish in 6th when they eventually get there.